Yeah, wouldn't ends. We back with another one for the youths in them. Yeah, young, brilliant minds, future in sight. Got the power to make change, make the world ignite. Let nobody say you can't achieve. Your dreams are seeds, someone just watch them grow. But you gotta believe in them. The youth effect, we're raising up the youth effect. Can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground. The youth effect, they gonna hear us roar. Educate, we get the key, unlock the potential.
Yes, there we go again. Good evening. It's Monday, 5th of May. Happy May. Welcome to May 11th. May 11th. What am I saying? You see the thing with coming from a Caribbean background and living in a country that puts the mom first, whereas we did it reverse. Sometimes it can be confusing. So yes, it's 5/11/2026, May 11th. 2026, and we're almost halfway through the year, and we are talking tonight about mental health. May, as in every year, has been designated Mental Health Awareness Month, and so we'll be going into that. But let me thank you first for being here with us and spending your precious hour and a half. We appreciate your time, we honor your time, and we respect your time. So here we are tonight, being with you to share that. You may be watching us on, excuse me, yes, still have allergies, on Instagram. You could be looking at us as well on Facebook Live, whether it's on TDN Radio Caribbean, or TDN ENT, TDN Radio Caribbean, as well as on YouTube, TDN Network 1, TDNTV.net. We have now Twitch TV, and you could also be listening to on TDN Radio and SEB Radio, GTMradio.com. Many, as well as Kathy Robinson Pitt Live. Yes, we have many options on which we can listen to the Youth Effect. And if you don't get it and not able to get it right now, you can always catch the replay. Okay, you can also catch it on the Youth Effect Facebook page, and you can email us at the Youth Effect 767@gmail.com for any comments, suggestions, things you want to see. It's about you, it's about us, it's about building community. Okay, remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share to bring in more people into the fold. So tonight, our topic is, we're having the conversation on Caribbean youth mental health, naming the weight, honoring the voice. The weight being what causes it. Honoring the voice is the silent voices, the silent suffering of all of us who go through mental health illnesses. Okay, so it's bringing our voices to the fore, that we are seen. I see you. I see you. I hear you. I acknowledge your pain. And you are not crazy. You are not crazy. The fear of people telling us we are crazy hinders us from seeking the help that we need. If you are 12 to 24, and you live in the Caribbean, this is for you. Last October, in October 2025, CARICOM and UNICEF asked 1,500 of us one question. That's between the ages of 15 to 24. And it's a question we ask each other every day without giving a thought to the responses. But the responses they got to these questions, how are you really? They really strikes a different tone. And this is what they said. 58% said, that is more than half, okay? More than half. I'm not optimistic about my future. 56 said, I worry all the time. 54% said, I feel sad, depressed, and hopeless. That's more than half of us. From Dominica to St. Lucia, Grenada to St. Kitts, you are not crazy. You are Caribbean. We are Caribbean. And you're carrying a lot. I'm Kathy Robinson Sayan, and you are listening and watching The Youth Effect. For the next 90 minutes, we're going to be talking and telling the truth about youth mental health in the OECS. Sometimes we don't want to see it, we don't want to hear it, we don't want to feel it, and we stick our heads in the sand like the ostrich, okay? Or we put a paper bag over our heads and block our ears, which can be more relatable to the Caribbean other than an ostrich. But we need to stand up and face the music. We need to approach the crisis head on. It is a crisis. There is data. And with that, dignity and a way forward, we can make a significant change, a significant impact. In the US, if you are in the US and if you need any help whatsoever and you're going through a crisis, just dial 988. 988 will get you the help that you need. Nobody needs to know if that's a worry or that's a fear. Okay? It's private, it's confidential, they will guide you. On our pages after the podcast, I'm going to post links, international links for those not in the US, but who can access international free hotlines to assist with mental health crisis, as well as links from the islands that can get you some therapy and some help. We need to trust the process and trust the people who are there to help us. Okay? No, let's I know this is heavy, so let's just take a breath and breathe with me, and then we're going to talk. Okay? So let's take a deep breath in, breathe in, and exhale. Let it out. Breathe in everything up and exhale. And while you exhale, you relax and sit in your chair, lie down. Just let whatever you're sitting on or lying on just hold you and relax you. You can feel the tension in your legs, in your thighs, in your bums, in your shoulders. Be conscious. Focus on all these parts of you and be aware of each tension and each twitch, and just consciously just release into the chair and relax the shoulders for a bit and the head. You go down. You can hear it say cracks, right? Sometimes, yeah. Not to do it fast, okay? You're gonna hurt your neck. And you go down and bring it up, go back, down to the right, bring it center, to the left shoulder, and back up. We can even stretch, do a stretch. Yes, that felt good. Release all the energy that you picked up from people today. Let it out, let it out. Shake it up, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Whew. As I say, whew, sir. Whew. That was good. One day you'll tell me how that feels to you, okay? Just a simple stretch, and it helps. Now let's talk. 58%, 56%, 54%. Those numbers might be you. Okay, those numbers might be you. And if this is your first time listening, you're part of the Youth Effect family now. You know, like what Marshall Montano said, you know, we all jump to that. It's a tempo, it's a rhythm. Yes. but how much have we reflected on the depth of that song? Family. We do everything together. What is our relationship with normal people walking on the road? Are they all family? But once you join in on the youth effect, you become family, and we share in your empathize with your pain. We hear you, you see you, and all what we share is to better you, better your relationships, to better our society and our communities, where we can bridge the gap between the generations to help the youth express their voice, to be themselves, to be understood with no apologies. And then we can work things out together, okay? Because we both need support. The older folk, I guess, we are older folk now, and the younger generation. So before we start, there is a house rule. Well, we have started, but there is a house rule. Take care of you first. We all know the adage, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You're going to get broken. You're going to be so fragmented, you cannot function. If anything feels heavy today, pause me, message, send a private message on the business line, which is 929-803-6356. We can direct you to resources that you need. Remember, this is not a therapy session. We do not do therapy. We provide tools and guidelines that can help you and follow you, and that you can follow, okay, to live a more fulfilled and pleasant life. So call any hotlines or crisis and text a friend. Get up, get some water, go take a walk, go in nature, even if it's just to go outside in your yard, remove your shoes, and stand barefoot in the soil. You know, when we were younger, we'd play in the rain, in the puddles, put on our swimsuits and go play in the rain. That was so therapeutic too, you know. But now, how much of those things, how much of bringing out the little child in us that we do, or the inner child, as we say, stifling ourselves, stifling our emotions, stifling who we really are, because also we have so much to put on a facade for people out there. That also is internal pressure. The pipe breaks and bursts at some point. It bursts at some point. So remember, if you need help right now, you can go to a priest, you can go to a pastor. If you're in Dominica, you can go to Sister Tina. I know that one for Lifeline. I know that one for sure. You know, I'll post the other numbers for St. Lucia, Grenada, even Trinidad. Okay. And be there. Show up for yourself. Okay. You are not crazy. You're going through a crisis. It's not your fault. You're going through something. And you must go through it to come out of it on the other side. Okay. So you matter. We need you here and tomorrow. All right? Can we say that's a deal? We need you here because everybody has a purpose and everybody has an impact on the society and the community in which we all live. Okay? So remember that. You are here for a reason. You're here to teach somebody something. You are here to be a part of a movement. 12 to 24, 25 to 35, 36 to 45, 46 to 60, 61, up to 100. We are all here for a reason and for a purpose. And we all go through some level of stresses. Okay? So how did that survey come through when we spoke about the study where we got 56, 52, 54%. This is high. And then we say, what is there for young people to be worried about? But if we have to sit back and look at it or really be honest about it, young people nowadays, Gen Z, or the millennials, I should say, they're going through a whole new type of animal than we did in our day. And one of the things we like to do is to do comparative analysis. Oh, when I was younger, well, this is not when you were younger. This is now. And they're dealing with so much more than we dealt with. Yes, we experience bullying and but not on the scale that young people have to deal with now. The world has collapsed upon itself. And because the world has become so much smaller, there becomes much greater pressure on young people. There are a lot of behavioral struggles that has come from abuse, lack of jobs, no safe spaces to go to. We have hurricanes every year that lead to displacement. I will never, ever forget Hurricane Maria in 2017. And I must say, I'm still going through the effects of recovery. You know, displacement, people misunderstand or they, how would I say it? I don't believe we as a Caribbean people understand the trauma of displacement. And then again, sometimes we all have to put up a face that we are strong, but vulnerability is a strength in itself and allows us to get help. According to the study from the OECS islands, 1 in 14s across the English speaking Caribbean deal with mental health or behavior struggles. 1 in 4. That means if you have 4 children, one out of the child of your children, one out of those 4 going to experience some sort of mental health issue, or maybe 2. And sometimes we may dismiss it as, oh, you're too sensitive, or you like to be by yourself. Go meet people. We dismiss the symptoms instead of asking why, or instead of looking more closely at the behavior, we name and label the child or the person. That alone also puts immense pressure on young children because now they don't feel safe with their primary caregivers in expressing who they are. Home's supposed to be your castle. And if you cannot be who you are at home, there is a major, major problem with that. Think strongly about that. How would you feel to come home? Many of us, there are many, many who cannot go home and be at peace in their home. And that is why suicide too is part of it. Is the third leading cause of death for ages 15 to 19 in our region. We have a tendency when something like this comes up, now the trending term is to unalive yourself. I guess to make it politically correct and to reduce the seriousness of it or take off the rawness of it. Now we want to polish everything. Suicide is real. It's something people go through. At the point when they do this, they are out of reality. They're in someplace else. So a lot of times we say, why couldn't they come to me? But are we really listening? There are so many times the people who are in such a depressive state, they leave symptoms, they say things. But sometimes we are so focused on ourselves and we don't pay attention, what we call attentive listening, like we actually hear what the person is saying. Sometimes lots of times, we listen while we are forming in our heads a response. So we're not hearing what the person is saying because we are quickly developing the response to what the person says. We put ourselves into what they're saying. We either want to show up that we have this feeling too, or we want to boast about something about ourselves, or we feel defensive about what the person is, we think we're going to say, the person is going to say, because we preempt a conversation. And when we preempt a conversation, we feel it in our body. We get defensive, we get angry, and we put up our walls. So now, for walls up, we don't hear. And that person could be telling us something between the lines. And we miss it because we are not listening. And when something happens, but just yesterday I was talking to her. She seemed fine. Was she really? Were you really listening? Were you looking at their body language, their facial expressions, if they're perspiring, their voice cracking, their voice breaking up? Are we looking at those things? Or are we just looking beyond that to just hear what we want to hear because we are so quick to say what we want to say? We need to listen, people. We need to listen. That's why we have two ears and one mouth. But apparently, our mouth is larger than those two ears there together. We have to switch it back to how God meant it to be. It's never too late to work on ourselves, As long as we are alive, we can improve ourselves. And there are so many things available, resources available to help us in that regard. So let's not turn a blind eye and a blind ear and a blind heart, a hard heart, to people in our society who are truly and genuinely in pain. Let us be more aware, okay? And coming back to what I was saying with regards to after someone probably unalive themselves or commit suicide, there's a lot of chatter. A lot of chatter. As it children do. That. And after a week, 2 weeks, it dies down and we forget all about it. We forget all about it until it happens again. Until the abuse happens again. Until the violence happens again. Until that child acts out in class again. They become the talk of the town until the next thing comes up to replace it. Guyana has the second highest suicide rate in the world. That's right in our backyard. Suriname is 6th. And here's the kicker for you. Caribbean countries spend only 4.3% of health money on mental health. That's 43 cents on the dollar. 43 cents on the dollar for mental health. Okay? So when you feel like nobody sees you, the budget that they have actually says they don't. But we do. We see you. I will promote one little thing here. I'm not partisan or anything there, but on cue, someone just sent this to me. It's all about mental health. Franklin Moses is one of the most, I should say, celebrated. What kind of term would you say Franklin is? He's an entertainer. He's a comedian. He's very good at what he does. and he has come out and spoken out a lot about mental health. He went through a lot of tragedy when it comes to that, and he went into a recovery. And I believe the whole society, Dominican society, stands up and celebrates with him for where he's at today. But he will be on speaking out on Q on Wednesday night, speaking with regards to life threatening concerns at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital. That's health. It's not about politics, it's not about being partisan, about anything at all. Okay? It's about the realities that we face. Sometimes we have to get involved. We don't have to be all political about it, but facts are facts. And things that people experience, we have to be able to listen objectively in a neutral space and respect their experience. We may not have experienced it, but they have. So when somebody speaks with regards to this happened to me, the first thing we do, because we do not um because we do not subscribe to their point of view, because we do not like them for some reason or the other, the first thing we say, oh, that's not true. But that is their experience. It's not yours. You may have had a perfect experience in anything. You may have contacts, you may have links, so your experience doesn't equate to what that other person is experiencing. But all experiences come together and make up a whole. And in that regard, we need to be attentive. We need to be listeners, active listeners of people's experiences, of people's pain. And then on the other hand, we say, so how can I help? What can I do to make it better for you? That's the compassion coming out from us, the empathetic side of us coming out. Okay? How may I help you? Not the person tells you what is wrong with them, and you meet, go down the road, you see Suzanne, you tell Suzanne, hey, I don't know what she's going through. Suzanne meets 10 other people, Suzanne shares it. Then Jack goes and he tells, before you know it, that what thing, little thing that person shared with you in confidence is all over the town, and that leads them more into a dark hole of thinking of suicidal thoughts. Okay? So we all have a part to play. We all have a part to play. This is not just the general Caribbean. Oh, this is Guyana. I'm sure it's Trinidad has a lot of violence too. And it could be because of mental illness as well. Okay? Some people are just wicked. I'm not making any excuses for that. Okay? Some people are just pure, plain wicked. And there's no excuse for that. But we have a lot of people who are suffering in silence. And we pass them straight on the roads every day without giving a second thought. Somebody acts strange, we laugh at them, we criticize them, we cajole them, we bully them, it's the talk of the town, it's radio neg, we know what they go them, radio bush, parole bush, as we say, mouth talk, and we spread the person's name, we bring it down in the gutter. Rumors could be true, it could not true. We like to say there is no smoke without fire. Sometimes there actually is no fire and no smoke. Eventually, when something, an untruth, is spoken about so many times and relayed so many times, we actually begin to believe it. So then we need to keep ourselves in check, and we need to understand who we are or what we represent, not only as a people, but who we are as a person. What are your values? Sit down and think of one value that you represent. And sometimes we might be afraid to say what the value is because we are our biggest critics. And we may have done something 20 years in our past, and we're afraid to say this is now my value because we're afraid somebody chastises us for that or bring up back our past. But you are not your past. And every day we grow, and every minute we change into a new person. We are not the person we were 2 minutes ago because we have learned something new. Our mindset has changed. We have grown into a different person. And a lot of times people get into the groove of their past and they stay in that. They stay in that. They stay in that. They ruminate in it. They marinate in it. And then they end up into these depressive holes. Excuse me. So it's not general Caribbean. It's our homes, it's our names, it's our cousins, it's our friends, it's our sisters, it's our brothers, it's our mothers, our fathers, our nene, our power. Go down the line. Okay? It's our people. Our people. It's us. As we said earlier. Family, it's family. Somebody said not too long ago, well, in a conversation, some young people I would not name, say, I would not marry someone from Dominica. It's not because they have been um, dismissive of Dominican guys. The next line will tell you why. It seems everybody in Dominica is related to each other. So we don't know if we're related to each other. Family. Sometimes you're talking to somebody, you meet somebody off the cuff and you're having a conversation and you find out you're related. And you're like, oh my God, we're related. So we're not very far off from that. And those we don't have familial ties with by blood, we choose to embrace them in our circle as family because of the type bonds and relationship we have developed with them. Tight bonds. And because of that tight bonds is why we need to be more aware and more sensitive to other people's needs. Tanusha, you're also in that study. You are 23.5%. 23.5%. In Dominica, yes, Dominica, our nature isle of the Caribbean, our youth told PAHO in May 2025, half of mental illness starts before 15. Let that sink in. Dominica youth shared with PAHO May 2025, exactly a year ago. Excuse me. Half of mental illness starts before 15. Let's put that in context and perspective. 15 is third form. So we're talking about second form, first form, grade 6, grade 5. What is going on at those ages? These are the ages the young people feel most pressure because their bodies are changing. They don't know what's happening. And also parental relationships sometimes change because at that age, they're no longer the children that are so cute and the things that they laughed about when they were younger. Now, all of a sudden, translates into something evil and now they have to be corrected. It's too late. You have already nurtured it into their character. So, of course, the young people will feel isolated and deserted and have to now internalize their emotions. Our Caribbean culture, generally, I'm talking about generalities, okay? Don't quote me on that. We have a tendency not to allow our children to express their voice. If they share something, oh, you just saying that just so. Listen, watch. Observe. Children say a lot of things by their actions and by their behavior. You are called 10,000 times to the principal's office because of your child's behavior. Negative attention is better than no attention at all. They want attention. They are lashing out. Or they don't behave like that at home because at home they are scared, they are anxious. So when they go out in the school, that's when now they have found this space to release. Everything has a why. Under every rock is an insect. Dig it up. All right. And then the first thought you might say, who is that probably tell Paro? And your mind already thinking, who might tell Paro? Well, it's a good thing it's confidential because that is not the point of the exercise. The point of the exercise is that half of mental illness starts before 15. And the next thing you should say, what can we do about that? How can I help them? How can I help you? Because we think 15, what they have to have them have mental illness. Mental illness is not only as having schizophrenia and walking on the road crazy. It can be very subtle in many different ways. Okay, very, very subtle. But they all come under the umbrella of mental illness. St. Kitts and Nevis, Grenada, Antigua, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, your youth are also in that 1500. We're all in it. It's a whole pot, or pepper pot. We're all in it together. And we're all in it to support each other. We have the OECS and the CARICOM agreement and all those things. And sometimes, our activists and our leaders have been fighting for Caribbean unity for so many years, since the 50s. And we're still working towards that. To eliminate the separateness of countries and make us feel like a unified body. But sometimes we are not even a unified body within the own spaces and communities we inhabit. So how can we relate to someone across the sea? We have to take stock of what's happening in our communities, in our backyards, in our homes. There was a study in Bermuda in 2023. I know this is heavy with statistics, but sometimes we have to say it for you to understand what is happening. Okay? It's not just off the cuff, not just talking from the top of our head. These studies were done. These actual, real people were spoken to. 31% of these teens in Bermuda are facing depressions. Okay, so when we talk about percentages, just think how much out of 100. So 31 out of 100 face depression. 25 of these have anxiety, and 65 of them out of 100 are suffering with both depression and anxiety. When two things are pushing something in the center on either end, you get in the center there and you're being squashed. So you have anxiety on this end and you have depression on this end. Chaos. What do you expect to happen? You smash it. When you smash it, what exists? Nothing. So if you're in Roseau or Castries or Kingston thinking it's just me, maybe the data says it's us. All of us are struggling with something. It's not weakness. It's the weight of day-to-day bills. It's the weight of, how am I going to send my child to university? It's the weight of, I'm working such a hard job and I still can't make ends meet. It's, I thought this friend was a friend and she betrayed me or he betrayed me. It's people you sign loans for that reneged and they left it alone, and you end up having to cover everything without them sharing their difficulties with you. They just run away. It is rumors, it is gossip, it's your house needing to be fixed, it's your family facing homelessness, it's your children not being able to have a good breakfast or have a good meal. It is so much. It's also some things that we impose on ourselves because we want to live up to a certain status quo. Okay, we want to pretend or live above our means instead of facing reality and cutting back. That could be one of it. Some of us, I don't know, I don't want to go home tonight because of the chaos and the abuse that we face, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, financial. And this comes at all statuses, okay? People who are plumped up and out and have high level jobs, they're going through it too. No one is exempt. Men go through it too. But because also of stigma, they would not say because they're supposed to be man. And I strong, so I am supposed to carry that weight. Nobody's supposed to know. I supposed to go through it. I supposed to be able to deal with it. Well, it's time we break that thing that big men don't cry. Men do cry. And we need to allow them their voice to express that. We need to allow them a safe space to be able to be vulnerable without rebuke. A safe space to release. And it all starts also with adults who never learned how to listen. Listen. Okay, we've spoken a lot about numbers. They are one thing. But let me tell you what 54% sounds like. Other than just what I said a while ago. It sounds like the things that we listen for, we should listen for. I'm tired, but I can't sleep. I have insomnia. I toss and I turn. I wake up in the night or I have the TV on all night. Everyone says I'm strong, so I can't break. Good night, Mr. Drago. He says, could the reduced physical activity exacerbate the mental health status of our young people? Very much so. Very much so. Because as we mentioned earlier, the young people complain all the time of not having safe spaces to gather, to socialize decently. And then we criticize them for going off into dark places. They have no safe spaces. And so much of the exercise and everything else is focused on the adults. A lot of things are focused on the adults. A lot of things are available for women. The exorbitant prices at gyms and everything else. Yes, we can say, oh, but they have extracurricular activities. They have volleyball, they have soccer or football, they have basketball. How many of the children have access to these facilities? So yes, you're very, very right. It has a lot to do with lack of exercise, lack of teaching coping skills and coping mechanisms, but also because we lack the professionals to be able to teach that. Because also adults, our own adults, us as adults, sometimes do not have that level of knowledge to be able to pass it on to the kids because we don't have any coping skills ourselves. We say nobody taught us, but there are a lot of resources that we can at least go and learn it, learn how to communicate, learn how to sit down and I'm thinking of a word and it's not coming at all, in terms of releasing it. Decompress. That's what I was trying to get, decompressed. And be able to let out. I remember in one of my programs, we spoke on leaving our problems at the tree outside the door, leaving it outside the door and not coming inside with it. For me, sometimes I sit in the car or on my walk. If I take the bus, I walk very slowly And I just let it go. Let it go. I'm not going to go home. If anything I dealt with at work for the day, or if I, wherever I was, not gonna happen. Because especially as women, we are the environment we create. It comes back. If as soon as you get home, the first thing you do is scream at your child, you have changed the environment. That's it for the night. The first thing you do when you wake up in the morning, you scream at your child. Let me tell you now, don't frighten me when I wake up in the morning. Don't knock my door. I have to wake up slowly. I have to ease into my day. Loud noises, that's it for my day. I will be upset for the whole day. That is until I learned how to recover quickly and then go into my calm and peaceful mode. But some of us don't know how to do that. And then we do not realize, we come to work upset, or we go to the children come to school upset, and the teachers themselves are on them. Oh, where's your pencil? Where's your pen? I had something I shared with some parents, with our teachers when I taught full time. It says it's only a pen. No, it's pencil. It's only a pencil. And what it said was, the child comes to school without a pencil, and we're harassing the child. Why don't you have the pencil? But that child had to wake up alone, feed and dress their younger siblings, only 10 years old, had to feed, did not have ironed clothes because the clothes were not washed. The parent, the mother, single mother, is working two jobs and working throughout the night. So there's nothing to eat. Clothes were not washed or ironed. So the child takes it from the laundry basket to put on them. Tries to get the siblings on the school bus, and that is the reality in the States. Yes, some of us say, oh, those things never happen. It can happen to us. There is a thin line, very, very thin line. One day we're good and the next day we're not. So the child, because there was no breakfast, had to get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to get himself and his two younger siblings dressed to get on that school bus on time, so they can get to school, so they can get breakfast at school. And that child is tired because he hasn't gotten his time now to finish his homework, because when he got home in the evenings, he had to take care of his siblings again. Mommy is off doing work. And sometimes they only see a note from their parents and see them on the weekends or once a week. This is the reality that some children are going through. Today I was looking at a documentary on homelessness. There are almost 500,000 homeless people in the US alone, in one state. Okay, and half of that, and 68% about of that, are children. Let us not be judgmental, because people can be working and not be able to pay rent. The high cost of living, it is. Even in our Caribbean homes, we see that. We are working and we're working and we say, we're not seeing what we are working for. Okay? Inflation is to the roof. People are broken. You're up at 3 a.m. in the morning, staring at your phone, wondering if anyone would notice it if you were gone. How do you cope with things? Yesterday, my daughters and I had a conversation. Remember when to socialize, you needed to actually leave your home, run around in the street with your friends. Nowadays, it's online friendships and how many likes you get. Impossible beauty standards. Very, very true. Thank you so much. Very, very true. People showing off money they don't really have. Very true. And young people trying to achieve these things and getting depressed and mentally drained when they're unable to get the things. That's true too. Influencers tell them it's easy to get. That's true too. I totally agree with you. But it also comes to having a strong home environment, mentors for those children, so they wouldn't be also spending all their time online. And sometimes, a lot of times, a lot of children are raising themselves. A lot of children are raising themselves. I was out with some children today, some students. They're sleeping on the desk. He's tired. They don't do the work. They're tired. Why are you tired? What time did you go to bed? 1 o'clock. What were you doing 1 o'clock? Playing video games. They're not supervised because the parents themselves are tired. They are tired. They do not know what to do. They do not know how to manage. It's a vicious cycle, and we have to, each one of us have to question ourselves and what part do we play in breaking that cycle. A society is not them. Society is us. No pointing fingers. What can we do? And sometimes it's only the internet some of them have. And they believe that the likes and the friends they have are genuine. But a lot of those things online are sets. Like so one where it was a plane. Where they showed they were on a plane after a plane. It was half of a plane, a set in a studio. Oh my God. And now with all AI and everything else, you cannot trust what people are posting nowadays. Even the some of the podcasts and everything else, they probably didn't come up with it. Okay, I came up with my stuff. Okay. But I'm not saying that is everybody. All right. Everybody in their own way is want to provide and want to be part of the solution to the problem. I don't know how we're gonna get that internet and influencer problem focused. It is a really, really big problem. Children don't want to do their work. They just want to be online. They want to um, do TikToks and TikTok trend. Today, I was overhearing someone having a conversation. Not, no, I wasn't overhearing. I was listening when I was going to work. I was listening to the Steve Harvey show. And they're saying that there's a TikTok trend going on with children running through the halls of the science. What's the name of that religion? Scientific something. Yeah. There's this big thing about it. Anyways, scientific religion. I can't remember how the name is. And those people know how to, it's a church, it's a place of worship. The doors are open. But now, because of the children going in there, they dressed as Jesus, who can outdress, running into these people's place. And it's only in that facility and filming themselves doing stuff in there, desecrating the people's place of worship. So they had to put locks on the doors and remove the external handles. Children are doing all kind of things you see online, all kind of TikTok challenges, and some of them are risky. Some of them are death-defying, but children want to belong. And according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which will always stand, belonging is a strong, strong sense of need for us as human and social beings. Okay? But if any of what I mentioned to refers to you, if it relates to you, if that is you, remember, you are not broken. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to, somebody you can trust, talk to. Go to a pastor, go to a priest, call somebody. You can speak to them anonymously. They'll listen. Other than it's their job, that's their calling. They will listen. Call a helpline. As I said, I will post the helplines on the page, the different links, international links, so you can call for free. 800 numbers. Talk to someone, okay? Or if you realize that someone close to you, or maybe necessarily close or intimate with you, is going through something, talking to them sometimes is not going to get through to them. But you can refer someone to talk to them, someone outside of that bubble to approach them, to talk to them, or something. A licensed therapist, a counselor, someone who is trained to deal with these situations, okay? Don't try if you're not trained, because the deeper someone is in depression or suicidal thoughts, you cannot get to them. You will not be able to get to them. Don't think you're a savior. Get real help. Because We cannot respond normal to a world that hasn't given us any tools. Life doesn't come in for manual. It doesn't come in for manual. It doesn't come say, if you feel this way, that's what you have to do. Because everybody is different and everybody has different experiences and different ways and different character traits and different things that will work for them and others that will not. So what worked for me is not going to work for you unnecessarily. And what worked for you may not work for me. You know, we say something to that. Everybody in the Caribbean is doctor. Everybody is a lawyer. Everybody's a plumber. Everybody's everything. You are not a therapist. Get with the program. Get to someone that is licensed, who have the skills, who can talk to you, who can share with you, and who can help the person you're referring them to. Because sometimes we think we can do it and we end up doing more harm than good. They are not broken. You are not broken. Sometimes people say, oh, I have to come and I have to find myself. You are always there. You have always been present. You haven't disappeared. You haven't run away from yourself. We are just covered beneath all our baggage, all our experiences, all our trauma. And the finding ourselves is taking this off all those scales and these layers and dropping off. And we're there. We're always there. It's releasing the who I am and getting back into our space, into the authentic me. Okay? So you are not broken. You're never broken. You may feel brokenhearted, but that doesn't mean you are. You are not the thing. Okay? You're responding normal to a world that hasn't given you tools. You're responding to a world that's very brutal, that's very critical, that's very judgmental, and internalizing it. And if you're in the 46% and you're still dreaming, we need you. The 46% that is considered sane, we need you to help to support the 54%. Okay? Check on your 54%. You're not fixing. Just, you good? Oh my goodness, these allergies are killing me. Just, you good. Sometimes just a smile. You know what I could do for somebody's day? Just a smile. Just a smile. Check on each other. Send a text. You think of someone, just send a text. You good? How you doing today? That person could be going through the worst day. Sometimes we say, oh, I'm not going to send them nothing because they don't check on me. You do not know what they're going through. You do not know what they're going through. And I had that experience not too long ago myself. You know, sometimes, I mean, I have this personality and it comes off wrong sometimes, but I've learned that, you know, I have to tone it down because it's not everybody we can approach the same way. And everybody, I was reminded that everybody has their burden to carry. Everybody is going through something. They may not tell you and they may wear a smile on their face, but sometimes it's just being personal. You good? You really good? Yeah? Okay. You send a text with a text takes 2 seconds. When people say, oh, I'm busy, it takes 2 seconds. And we never know what that 2 seconds can do for someone. We're going to head into a break. Okay, and hear a word from our sponsors. After, we're going to listen to someone in a great strata of society who experiences his own break with reality. Mental health has no respecter of persons. It hits anywhere, anytime, anyhow. David Johnson is a young medical student at the time. He speaks on his experience on his mental health issue while he was studying through a UNICEF program. We're going to listen to him for 5 minutes when we come back from our break. We go now to a sponsor. Still, please stay tuned with us. You're listening to the Youth Effect. Stay tuned.
Running a radio station shouldn't be chaos. It should be simple, smart, and professional. With Joan Premium, your entire week schedule is beautifully organized and easy to manage. Real-time accuracy keeps your listeners in sync with every show. Your visitors and audience sees the right schedule every time, wherever they are. They can even choose different time zones. From analytics to social media and native app integration, Joan Premium is the professional tool your station deserves. You're never alone. We provide priority support for active license users. We're building a community. Connect with broadcasters worldwide through our Joan Community Hubs. Choose your plan, annual flexibility, or lifetime freedom. Get Joan Premium today. www.gndenterprisesinc.com or call 877-698-9894 for more information.
And we are back, and I'm going to put this on for you to see. Take a listen, okay?
2020 was an extraordinarily difficult year for me. January found me tense and full of angst. I was overcome by fear at the start of a rigorous semester of medical school. I had been here before, but this time the stakes were higher. I knew it, my classmates knew it, and though we all hid behind the facades, the air was thick with stress and anxiety. But we didn't talk about it. We didn't talk about our fear of failure. We didn't talk about how, despite sharing the same lectures, libraries, and exam halls, we all felt isolated, unseen, unheard, alone. In a culture where image is everything, and strength is seen as the capacity to suffer, we didn't talk about mental health. But where does that leave us? In a Caribbean region where economic hardships, food insecurity, crime, and the harsh effects of a deteriorating climate crisis all converge, where does inaction and an apathetic attitude towards mental health and well-being leave our youth? In a region with some of the highest rates of suicide globally, why have our governments been so slow to implement and expand access to mental health care and support? I wrestled with these questions, and I was resolute to make a difference. So, at the end of January 2020, I launched Let's Unpack It. It started as an Instagram page that would build awareness, promote healthy coping strategies, and give young people a platform to unpack their lived mental health experience without fear of ridicule or judgment. But then, COVID-19 breached our borders, and life as we knew it came to a stop. Month after month, governments announced plans to save the economy, to reduce mortality and hospitalizations, and ramp up vaccinations. These were all critical initiatives, but they failed to prevent and address one of the most glaring consequences of any public health emergency: the mental health fallout. And for me, this was a turning point. Empowered to sound the alarm and demand urgent intervention, I repositioned Let's Unpack It as a youth-led, youth-focused civil society organization. By mid-2021, Let's Unpack It had amassed its first 1,000 followers on social media, and had buy-in and engagement from numerous organizations. Our impact grew from there. Our work captured the attention of the regional media, civil society organizations, and ministries of health and youth throughout the region. To date, our top 3 greatest impacts have been: 1, contributing to Barbados' mental health action plan; 2, developing a regional directory of mental health and psychosocial support services in partnership with UNICEF and the Healthy Caribbean Coalition; and 3, launching the Caribbean's first youth-led mental health network with representation from 17 Caribbean nations. There's a tremendous amount of work left to be done to dismantle stigma, improve access to care, and implement national strategies to tackle mental illness. This demands a multi-sectoral approach that recognizes mental health as an individual and collective global issue. We must mobilize a world where every young person can exercise and enjoy their right to the highest attainable standard of mental health and well-being. So I call on all you leaders, advocates, policymakers, stakeholders, philanthropists, do more to prioritize mental health. Thank you.
And there we have it. What was your take on that? What was your take on that? What poignant parts of this talk stood out for you? Really hit home with you? We don't do sad podcasts. We come up with solutions, just like Dr. Johnson did. He came up with a solution, and it only took one person to make a difference. It only takes one. Okay, we don't have to follow the pack. We can be leaders in our own way. We see a gap for something and we fill in that space. WHO and UNICEF say comprehensive means everybody got a job. Just as he said, all of us, it takes all of us. We adults need to get trained and learn the signs and the symptoms. We normally say kids these days, that's not a plan. How can I help? That is a plan. In the schools, every adult, every teacher, sub-teacher, the drivers of the buses, cooks, everyone knows the referral steps. They need to be trained to see the signs. We know we have problems with the bus drivers a lot of times, okay? But how can we make a difference? We need to stop saying, it's not my job. And we need to start looking for the solution. So this is a call to action. We are in a crisis, people. There is art, there is music, there's talk. We have to move. We have to encourage. We have to guide. You want to try this? You want to try that? We need to suggest. We need to come together in community to support our young people and create groups and support systems for them. You're a parent group, your children hang out together, create a parent group and help them to go somewhere, hikes. Introduce them to something, they go on hikes. Remember when we were younger, my brother had his friend group. Parents took the whole set of them, like 10 of them, out mostly every Sundays. And one Sunday I was crying, I wanted to go. And that's the Sunday. Something bad happened. I jinx those boys. But that's what I'm talking about. Parent support. Be part of your children's lives. That makes a big, big difference. You have a right to help before crisis, not just after. In terms of governments, 4.3%, that is 43 cents is not enough. We need counselors in schools, trained counselors, and not only trained ones, they need to be able to have continuous professional development, so they be on top of new studies and new techniques and new skills. Not that kind of thing. Sometimes we have in the Caribbean, once train and you get your certification. That's it. No, you have to be on top of it, and not just posters on walls either. Powell says only 45% of countries have child mental health policies. So it's all up to us now to dig into where we live and find out what mental health policies exist for our children, for young people. Maybe not for our children. We may say, me and got children are big people, but they might have kids, and so you may have grandchildren. You have a legacy coming up behind you. Okay, you have children coming up. It's not just you and your child. We need these activities. We need these safe spaces for kids to gather. That's prevention. That's expression when we have no words. Okay, release, coming together, activities, coping skills, workshops, different things, communities coming together and organizing events and activities for the children within that community. Remember, if you need help, reach out to someone. Reach out to someone, okay? Say it now, not later. And if you can help, remember we mentioned you text right now. You can even, I'm giving you permission to even stop. Text 2 friends and tell them, Youth Effect told me to check you. You good? Tell them that. Youth Effect told me to check you. You good? That's just 2 words. You good? If you text 2 friends every 2 days, that's 6 people you reach a week. In all our busyness, we need to check on each other. Remember, we are brothers keepers. Okay? Let's not wait for crisis. Also, if you have contacts, if you have a little power somewhere, tag your Ministry of Youth and ask them, what's our plan for the 58% of children who are suffering in mental depression and anxiety? The data is public. Use it. Find out. Go to your ministry. Go to your research departments. Get the information. Sometimes it's a little difficult. Statistics offices. It's a little troublesome to get the information. Find out the youth organizations in your community and work through them. Next episode, we'll come back talking about tools and coping skills and how to talk to adults, but not only how to talk to adults, how adults should speak to kids and the youth. That is tremendously important. Not shaming them. Not shaming them. And also, how do we find spaces where none, quote unquote, none exist? How do we create those safe spaces for children and even for our own adults or friends who are probably suffering themselves? One of the things we have to learn too is learning how to be trustworthy, how to maintain confidentiality with our community and our friends. Because I know from a lot of young people who have spoken to me, or even adults as well, that's one of the biggest boundaries, biggest barriers, to people being vulnerable in their sense, in their time of need. They're afraid that what they share is going to be let out, and it's because of that we are known for. We need to develop. It's not too late to start to develop a sense of trustworthiness, of building trust, of building up our own integrity within ourselves, and by far and large, by extension, our communities and societies to be able to develop a trust, safe space for each other. A safe space. You know, you have done a lot of listening tonight. So you can just, by just being here and breathing and showing your presence. CARICOM spoke. UNICEF counted. We listen. The Caribbean's greatest resource is in the beaches. And as much as we would love to say is a nature isle, the natural, our forest and our greenery, it's our people, it's us, it's you, it's me. That's our greatest resource. Protect your head, protect your heart, protect each other. Protect each other. Excuse me. I cannot wait for spring to be to us so I can get rid of these allergies. Drop us a voice note. 929-803-6356 or post on the Youth Effect page. I can post on Kathy Robinson Peter page. Send us a text or an email through the Youth Effect 767@gmail.com. Share your concerns, share solutions that you may have, share your private thoughts. 4.3% is 4 cents on the dollar. Really sad, yes. Yeah, it is really sad. Just 4 cents. Can you imagine that? Yes, I did say 43 cents. Yes, 4 cents. Thank you. I just realized I said 43 cents. Thank you so much. 4 cents. Imagine that. It's even worse. 4 cents on the dollar. The question is, what kind of data sets are Caribbean governments using to find solutions? Because without data, or up to data, it's not possible to develop solutions that stand a chance of working. Very true. And without data, if you can measure it, you can fix it, right? So, but they can also pedal back on the PAHO and UNICEF and CARICOM studies. The data exists as fresh as a year. The data exists. So I would add on to your statement by what are they doing to get solutions? Are they even getting solutions? You see, Mr. Drago just corrected me. 4 cents. If 4 cents is spent on mental health solutions, do you think they're really looking for solutions? Children are just looked at as, it's just a generation. It's a bother. But the children are who going to be there to build the nation up. So if their heads are not in the right space, what's going to happen to us? What is going to happen? We like to label people by time when they have anything and say, "Oh, you have, or I have depression." Don't do that. Depression is a diagnosis. You're a therapist, you're a counselor, you're a psychiatrist to be able to diagnose someone with depression or anxiety. They may present you these symptoms, they may be showing signs of, but you cannot say, or neither can you say that they are not depressed. The thing is, we have to be observant of these symptoms and get people help before they hit the crisis. Before they hit the crisis. Before we all come and use it as a point of conversation and talking point. Oh, you do not know what happened yesterday? Did you hear what happened to this person? Did you hear that person? Who would have thought that person going through this exactly? Who would have thought? Because we didn't pay attention. We did not pay attention. So what are we going to do about it? What are you doing about it? What am I doing about it? I'm doing my little part here in sharing, in raising awareness, in providing links. You can go to this Mr. Dr. Johnson's page, and see what he's doing. How can you contribute to that? How can you contribute to that? I may lose you all for a minute, but I want to play something for you to remind us who we are as a Caribbean people. Okay, just bear with me 1 minute. Okay. I'll be right there with you. Because we need to remember who we are as a person, as a people. We need to remember ourselves. Oh, I need to get it. I need to play that. I need to play that. I need to play that. Okay. Okay, here it is. I'm back with you. So let me see what's playing there for me. Okay. Let's do that. Oh, you're not? Okay. I'm going to remind us who we are as a people, okay? Who we are in terms of taking care of each other, standing up for each other, supporting each other. Let's just sit back and dance to it, embracing it, who we are supposed to be taking care of. Yes, it is a serious situation. Our brothers and sisters have to travel to St. Lucia and Antigua to check into a rehab center. When they return home, they often relapse because they no longer have access to that support. Very true. Facilities have to be created to help us, to help the young people to identify, to provide counselors, trained counselors. Now people are just do a 3 months course and then they're calling themselves counselors. You are not a counselor. You are a first aid person, first aid support. You are not a counselor. We need to put those things in perspective. And then they go on to want to counsel people. Be careful. You are probably doing more harm than good. Okay? So I want to leave you with on that note. Remember, we are all family. We all have to take care of each other. All right? You can drop us a note at the youtheffect767@gmail.com with your comments, with your suggestions, with anything that you want to know. We'll do the research and we'll provide you the answers, okay? And I will also post the hotlines, international, Caribbean, whatever I have on the other research that I've done, and post it there for you, for anybody who wants the help and needs the help, okay? So on this note, I'm going to leave you with a happy, healthy, get up from your chair and let's dance and remind ourselves who we are as Caribbean people, that we are there for each other and we are each other's keeper. On that note, I want to thank you again for spending the hour and a half with us, and we look forward to your presence again next week. Get out of your chair and let's show how we do it the Caribbean way. Good night and talk to you soon. Oh my goodness, what did I do? Where is it? Okay, no, it didn't come up. Okay, here it is.
Boom blast, Viking, Marshall, yes, cause when we roll, we don't roll alone. So anyway, that we go, you feel no. I'm moving every with me, family, with me, family, when we come to we must have fun, turn up dance, we like a hammer. Cause everybody, jump it up together, jump it up together, mash it up together, mash it up together, wave it up together, wave it up together, jump it up together. Hey, we don't see skin, we don't see color, we see strength, we see power, we don't see race, one or the other. Cause everybody jump it up together, jump it up together, together, mash it up together, mash it up together, together, wave it up together, wave it up together, together, jump it up together. Whoa, I say, whoa, it's plenty away, my crown on the empty away. The bond that we have is unbreakable for the long term, it's not temporary. So hands up, if you're not family, show me your hand, the face run away. Don't follow me, cause technically all the way you swear. Well, let me tell you one time, family is family and not different from bloodline. Some say them is blood, but them don't want to see the sunshine. Family don't ever afraid to have your back at all time. Tell them and the friend, we frontin' with we family, with me family, when we come to we mash up and turn up dance we like a hum. Yeah, Brooklyn lens, we back with another one for the youths in them. Yeah, young, brilliant minds, future in sight, got the power to make change, make the world ignite. Let nobody say you can't achieve your dreams are seeds, sow and just watch them grow. But you gotta believe in the youth effect. We're raising up the youth effect. Can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground. The youth effect, they gonna hear us roar. Educate, we get the key, unlock the potential. A lesson every day, knowledge essential. Standing tall, walking proud, let your voice be heard. Unite together as one, spread the love with every word. The youth effect, we're raising up. The youth effect, can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground. The youth effect, they gonna hear us roar. Educate, we get the key, unlock the potential. A lesson every day, knowledge essential. Standing tall, walking proud, let your voice be heard. Unite together as one, spread the love with every word. The youth effect, we're raising up. The youth effect, can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground. The youth effect, they gonna hear us roar. Create, initiate, push through, no limits. Go ahead and live it up. Respect, positivity, you on your way. Break down walls, build bridges.